This video is going to be a mashup of astrology and a little bit of politics and personal responsibility. And really, it's about getting unstuck and how important it is to take responsibility for the changes that we want to see and how really, really hard that is. Let me frame this by talking about the huge full moon that we had just this past Friday. It was our second full moon in a row, making it a blue moon in Libra. And I did a whole long video last Thursday about that full moon. And because we are in that frame of full moon, a lot of us are looking at healing our money story or our relationships. And I personally was very focused, have been very focused on addressing my money story, because for a long time I've been stuck at a certain level of income and I don't like it. I want to be doing things in the world and having an impact, and the things that I want to be doing require greater financial resources than what I have been able to generate up until this time. Now, when I was 30, I was a millionaire, and since beginning this massive spiritual transformation and personal growth path, things have shifted. And I have found it very difficult to get back to a level of income generation and wealth production that allows me to do the things that I want to do. I've kind of been stuck at a, well, this is fine kind of a level, and I don't like it. And so with this big full moon in Libra, and Libra is ruled by the planet Venus, and Venus is all about that which we value. And so what we value, that means mostly money and love. And we think of Venus as being the planet of love, but it's all of that which we love. And so I personally had been thinking about, all right, this is going to be my chance. Like, this is the time for me to change my money story, because I am, in fact, doing a lot of things to rebuild my website and significantly promote my coaching practice and the services and healing meditations and everything else that I offer. And I'm like, yes, this is going to be it. I'm going to, this will be my time to get to where I want to be in terms of financial resources. And, and I thought, relationship, who cares about that, that felt less important to me. And so I was eagerly embracing the actions that I could take to make changes related directly to my money story. And I was much less willing to examine anything relating to relationship. And wouldn't you know it, the universe needed to let me know that that's not how things work. Because what happens is that when we are focused on the change that we want to make, what we do is we focus on the changes that we are willing to make. And that's not where the transformation is. That's not how we make radical transformation in our lives. If all we do is focus on the things we're willing to change, we're not getting at the hard stuff. So if you're stuck, it's because you keep doing the things you've always done. And the reason that you keep doing them is because these are like your emotional and behavioral security blankets. The things that you do, the outcomes that you create, they make you feel safe. Even if they're not outcomes that you want. In my case, I don't like the income level that I've been stuck at. I very much want to be at a very different income level so that I can have the financial resources to have the kind of impact that I want to have in the world. And yet, I keep doing the things that are creating the outcomes that I don't like. And specifically, love and money are energetically the same thing. Love and money they both live in the second chakra, and they represent the most powerful energy that human beings can touch directly. Love, and specifically sex, and specifically its ability, its power to literally create life, is powerful, right? And even without creating life and sex, just love itself. When we talk about, when people commit violent crimes, why do they do it? Love and money, right? Love and money are the two things that are most motivating, most catalytic in our world. Love and money are the things that inspire us most deeply. Why? Because they are the most powerful, the most passionate, and they're energetically they're the same. Money and love, it's support. How we feel supported, where we get our feeling of safety from. How do we feel safe in this world? Generally, it's because we have either we feel safe when we feel supported, and that support can come from financial support, or that support can come from emotional support. If we feel like we've got plenty of money, we don't need to worry about our material safety. If we feel like we've got plenty of love and emotional support, we don't need to worry about our emotional safety. And yet the two get confused. Sometimes when we have plenty of financial support, we can feel emotionally unsafe. And sometimes when we have plenty of emotional support, we can feel financially insecure and at risk. So love and money are these powerful forces. And I talk about in the main body of work that I do is about sales wounds. It's called Heal Your Sales Wounds. And I call it sales wounds because it does in fact directly relate to our ability to influence and affect other people, i.e. make sales. But it also speaks to our deepest self-limiting beliefs. And primary sales wound number 2 is the love and money wound. And it talks about this profound interrelationship between money and love in our life and our relationships. So, getting back to being stuck and getting back to the way that I am struggling with it, and I'm going to share what's going on for me because I think that it's going to have direct relevance to a lot of you who are watching. So in the frame of this big full moon that happened on Friday, that was in Libra, and so Libra is about what we value, which means love, which means money, which means all that we value. I was super excited to have money-related things change. I was super excited to be doing more promotion of my website, to be tightening up my sales pages on my website. I was super excited to be, increasing the ways in which I'm being responsible with the money that I do have. And I was unwilling to look at relationship. And I was also feeling frustrated because nothing really shifted this past weekend in terms of nothing. I saw no evidence that I didn't have any increased traffic to my website. I made an offer for one of my products and it didn't have any particularly large amount of sales to it. And I was like, I really thought that this full moon energy was going to bring some big spectacular change in my, financial story. And instead, what happened, what a lot of energy was stirred up around, was a discussion that happened on my Facebook wall about the Mueller report getting released. And I made this post that said, hey, all of you Trump supporters, have any of you actually read this Mueller report, and do you still stand by your guy? And this led to a long set of conversations, interestingly, between me and 4 men, all of whom I know personally, all of whom I have platonic relationships with, all of whom support me in varying ways. One of them, Jig, said, I would jump in front of a train for Julia. And another one, Chris, said that he has been reading and following my posts on Facebook for a long time, and that he's been a long time listener, long time fan kind of thing. Bill is one who I actually have had a non-platonic relationship with. has consistently showed up as, telling me like he supports me and he's a fan of me and he's, just clearly shown his support of me. And yet, what I did in these conversations on my Facebook wall is I yelled and screamed and did as much as I could to push these men away. In short, I was unwilling to allow myself to feel supported by these men. Again, they're platonic relationships, but it's important to note that they are men, because what we're talking about here in the big frame of things is that the reasons we're stuck is because we are unwilling to look at the things that are the hardest, the places where we're most deeply wounded, the patterns that we find ourselves continuing to stay in, not because they're good for us, but because they give us what we think we need from our wounds and from our self-limiting experiences. And my experience of the world is that I'm great with women. I have wonderful, intimate, deep relationships, supportive, loving, valuable relationships with an impressive number of women. Men, not so much. I don't feel safe with men. That's the truth. And as a result, I'm unwilling to allow men to support me, because the definition of allowing is that you let go of control. You're no longer in control. The other person in a relationship, the other person is in there with you. When you are allowing someone to support you, to show up in your defense, when you are allowing someone to love you, you don't get to dictate exactly how they do it, right? Some of us try. Many of us probably try, but that's not allowing. Allowing is being open and like, okay, I know you love me. I know you support me. I'm going to trust that what you're doing and saying now is in service of that love and support of me. And in the frame of this Facebook conversation that I was having this past weekend about the Mueller report and these Trump supporters, about Trump supporters' reaction to it, I was unable to feel support. And in fact, I felt as though these men who were replying, I wanted to hear 100% agreement with my perspective. And anything short of that, I felt endangered by. I felt attacked by. I felt wounded by. And this was brought to my attention. Today I was watching a video from one of my mentors who was talking about this energy of the full moon. And what she said that just really rung true for me was, when you're blaming other people, when you are getting angry at other people, when you're saying that this is not good and I don't like it and it's your fault, what has really happened is that you have surrendered your own boundaries. You have not made a stand for yourself. You have relinquished your sovereignty. You've failed to express what it is that you need. And it just clicked. And I thought, wow. And on this Facebook wall conversation where I was, screaming that you can't support Trump if you've read the Mueller report, and there was these series of men that were responding in something other than 100% agreement. And there was a spectrum. There was Dick, who was actually fully in agreement with me on the fundamentals of the politics, but yet he was disagreeing on some other parts. And then there was Jig, who is a big old Trump supporter. And he's the one who said he would jump in front of a train for me, even though we have this difference of opinion. And I have screamed at him so much over the last 2 years and said horrible, nasty things to him. I've pushed him away so hard, and he is still saying that he will jump in front of a train for me. And then there's Chris, who is not a Trump supporter, but he also thinks that I was being irrational, was the word that he used. And then Bill, who actually didn't even jump into the conversation, but he's a Trump supporter who I've had gone around and around with this about several times in the past. And gosh, what was my point in telling you about all these people and their specific? Oh, right, taking a stand. So I thought to myself, what if I had taken a moment to breathe and feel that? So what actually happened was that when these four men responded with something other than complete agreement, I felt attacked. I felt unsafe. And in response to my feeling of unsafety, there was only one thing that I know how to do, and that is attack and shift into, I'm very articulate and I have a very biting tongue. And I, went into my verbal attack mode with all four of these men who, by the way, all they were doing was disagreeing with me. And even in their disagreement, they were still making it very clear they still loved and supported me. I'm using the word loved, broadly, right? These are all platonic relationships. And so it dawned on me this morning that is the pattern that I need to change if I want to create a difference in my money story. Now, this is getting deep, and I want you to pay attention to what I'm talking about here. Because love and money are the same thing. And as you think about the places that you're stuck in your life, it might not be love and money. And in fact, you might even be suspicious of my assertion that love and money are the same thing, that there is this relationship. But the point to be taken away is that whatever it is that you think you need to change and what you're willing to change isn't what needs to actually change. So here I was so busy, tightening up my sales pages and putting out promotions on Facebook and, making all these, actions, things that I was willing to change in order to create the kind of financial resources, create the income, generate the increased levels of income that I want to have. When in reality, what I need to do is I need to allow myself to feel loved and supported. Not by money, I do feel financially supported. As an entrepreneur, my money goes up, my money goes down, my income goes up, my income goes down. I don't have a steady paycheck, right? So a long time ago, I got comfortable with the idea that even, if my money's low, if my money's high, I'm still supported. Financially, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm supported. I have enough. I don't feel that way when it comes to relationships, specifically with men. I don't feel supported by men. I feel completely unsafe in relationship with men. And if I want to change my money story, I need to be willing to look at the ways in which I am not allowing support to show up in relationship. I'm getting it now that is what is keeping me stuck in my money story. If I want to take my business to the next level and have the kind of financial resources that I feel I need to have in order to make the kind of impact I want in the world, it's not what I do on my website and with the promotion of my offers or whatever that's going to make the difference. What's going to make the difference is doing the hard work to break that pattern that I have that makes me feel unsafe when a man shows up in anything other than full agreement with me. It's allowing myself to feel loved and supported by men in platonic ways is the key to allowing myself to receive the abundant financial resources that I've been striving and unsuccessful at creating. Are you getting this? This is deep stuff. I'm not sure how many people are watching. I see a bunch. I don't know what the total number is. And I know also that this topic of transformation deep, profound, real transformation is one that not a lot of people are willing to dive into. So with that, I think we're going to wrap up this video. I hope this has been helpful. The big takeaway is that if there is something that you are trying to change, especially if it's something that you've been trying to change for more than a minute, the problem, the reason you're staying stuck is that you have only been trying to change the things that you're willing to change. And what needs to happen is that you need to allow yourself to become aware of that which you have been unwilling to change, and become willing to change that. And if that sounds like a tall order, it is, and I can offer you significant help in this area with the healing meditation coaching process that I call a sales wounds deep dive. You can read more about it on my website, but it is a one-off coaching session that is a healing and energetic activation that causes you to have an intellectual awareness of where you've been stuck and have been unable to see it, and also triggers a significant healing and clearing and unstucking of that place there where you have been stuck. It's a powerful, powerful activation. Read the testimonials about it that are on my website. They're pretty incredible and inspirational. So thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to the time that we meet again.